if I already know that it's going to do the harm and I create it, I'm responsible. Just like God knowing that humans are going to do the harm, right? He's
Okay.
responsible for that.
So if God created the beings to not do that, that would that be considered perfect creation? Would that be considered a good creation?
No, unless his
And here,
knowledge can be wrong. Can God's knowledge be wrong?
I would say no.
Okay. So even if God intended for them to be good forever, right? He
Hmm.
knew that they wouldn't be. So his intention and his actions don't align.
Intention for creating real or
For
creating
creating
fake?
what?
Creating a real creation versus creating something that's limited.
Are you tracking? You came up a second fucking time just to like not pay attention? Like, are you not tracking?
I'm talking to the
Come
host.
on.
Yeah, you're
I
really
don't
not.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
What do you mean?
Real
you're
or
not
fake is crazy.
like
When have I ever
How?
real or
introduced real
fake
or
isn't even
fake?
an acceptable answer.
Okay, well, you're
Right? Like
taking
that's
it to
not an
the
acceptable
extreme.
shut up for a second. That's not an acceptable answer.
Not
Right?
mature.
There's like use
Uh,
your critical thinking skills. Like pretend that you have them. Like I'm not even being funny, best friend. Like just pretend that you have critical thinking skills for a second and tell me how real or not real answers the host's question. Right? Can you even repeat back what the host said to you? I guarantee you that you can't, right? And that's the frustrating part of the conversation that she wants to have with you, right? You've got to put on your thinking cap and tighten that bitch up. It's very silly, the answers and the responses that you're giving.
crazy.
Okay, well, you're not tracking me, so let me reiterate.
Well, I can't because you're all over the fucking place. You're in fucking Narnia and
And
we
you're
are
not
on
helping
fucking
by
Earth.
screaming at me,
Like, Jesus fuck.
Okay,
Well,
listen,
okay,
Hoodview.
so
Listen, bro. Listen. Okay. God's intention, even if he intended for them to do good forever, right? This is the reality of the situation. God could intend for Adam and Eve to do good, but he knows that they're not going to. Okay. And he creates them anyways. So his intention and his actions are not in alignment.
I'm tracking.
Okay. Do you have a response to that?
There's no, well, what's the question? What was the question again?
It was a statement, right?
Yeah,
Now I can tell you what that entails, what follows from
the
that.
the intention and his actions were not in any effect of the creation, though, because the
Yes, it
creation,
does.
the intention was choices. You
Nope.
created a
No,
robot
no, no,
with
no, no, no.
choices.
This is why. This is why. If I intend for my robot to do good, but I know that it's not going to, and I create it anyways, my action of creating this robot that is going to do harm anyways does affect the actions. It does affect the outcome because I'm creating something that does the harm.
Okay, then what? I mean, your analogy is kind of limited in going deeper because who does it harm? Who does your robot get to harm?
In this
Does that
instance, it
matter?
could be anyone.
It can be anyone, but then
Why does
that's
that
the
matter?
that's the
Why do
creation
why
in
hey,
itself.
hey, hey, Hood, why would that matter? What like information, like why would that information help you? Like
Because
answer the fucking question.
because if
It
they're
does not matter at all.
okay to
At
you,
all.
someone else
No,
might.
it should not matter to you, best friend. Like it really shouldn't.
I'm just trying to understand the analogy and how it doesn't really, because you're trying to say, is God good for this? But to some people he is, and to some people he's not. So there needs to be an objective good to even have this argument. And without
There
God, there's
doesn't need to be.
no, there doesn't need to be. You're right. So if there's like you said, a grapist, right? There's a grapist that grapes. Okay, there's a whole situation outside of that that caused that person to do that. How is that God's fault for his creation having to go through certain scenarios and make these choices freely? if they don't have choices, then they're not a human. They're not real. They're fake.
Yeah,
They're guided.
they can have choices. Okay, they can have choices.
So
Also,
you're saying
I put
God
up a
should
poll up
stop
there,
it at
top
a
left
point.
corner there. They can have choices, but these choices and what the creator chooses to do, the choices that the creator has, okay, are influenced. I mean, not influenced. I'm sorry. The choices that the creator has influences whether or not they're responsible. Okay. So those choices determine if they're responsible or not. Meaning the same thing that makes me responsible when I create the robot is the same thing that makes God responsible for creating humans. It's the same.
Yeah. So so that's what I was trying to say. Put me in the spot of the robot. And if I'm the robot, I killed Ryan, right? My experience is bad. Why?
And God, no, I'm not talking about your experience.
Not my experience.
The harm that you,
yeah,
the harm that you do in the world is
but
bad.
why is it bad? Because
for the same reason, even under your perspective, that harm is bad.
Yeah,
right.
But for an example though, is that Ryan isn't good to everybody else. So
it doesn't,
to certain people,
but it doesn't matter. Is sin bad? Is sin bad?
Yeah, sin is bad. Yes.
So creating human beings that sin, that doesn't make God good.
Well, choices gives us the choice to
sin, and not creating human beings that will do the bad does not make God good.
There's no creation that wouldn't be good. It would be a fake creation. That wouldn't be a real creation, and that wouldn't be good.
I don't think you actually know how to determine real from fake.
You want to do bad shit. No,
what?
just admit
that's not what I'm saying. But if you're
and you want to do bad things,
that's not
this is so wild.
That's not it.
Because there's lots of people, millions of people who don't do bad things, who never choose to do bad things. They have a myriad of choices laid out in front of them. They never rape, they never steal, they never murder, they don't DV anybody. They're kind to children and puppies and kittens. Like, what the fuck? Are they fake human beings because they never do anything bad, nor do they have the desire to do anything bad?
No, they're
so then this asinine statement about, oh, you're not a real person if you don't have the choice to grape somebody is the dumbest thing you guys could ever say. And
you got 30 seconds.
Say it. You all say the same thing. It's wild. You don't need the ability to murder people in order to be a real human being. What is wrong with you guys? Just admit you want to do fucked up shit. And if you don't want to do anything fucked up, then what do you lose by just make-believe free will that you guys keep caping for? If you don't have the intention to do any of the horrific things that are currently being done in today's world, then you lose nothing by losing this so-called free will that you feel is so damn important. More important than children's lives, apparently. It's wild.
All right, Hoodview, you've been kicked off the island. All right.
And cooked and kicked.
Cooked and kicked. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm gonna listen. So, I think, honestly, I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name here, but I'll send you an invite to unmute your mic. Something 33. Yeah, hi. What should we call you?
My name is Daragon.
Daragon? With a D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Daragon. Are you a Christian? And if so, how old are you?
Yes, I'm a Christian and I'm 43 years old.
All right, Daragon. I'll ask the question and then one of my amazing panelists here will respond to you, okay?
Sure.
If I create a robot and give it choices, but I know it is going to harm people, am I responsible?
I want to say maybe, but I was really more hoping to maybe get an understanding of a few terms, because I've been listening for a while and I just want to be able to like understand where you're coming from, if that's okay.
Sure. I did say I was going to stop talking, so somebody else will have to explain.
Well,
anybody?
I was really hoping to ask you the question.
You've been listening to a conversation that you haven't been understanding this whole time?
I wouldn't say I haven't been understanding.
Boulder Dash.
Yeah,
I think you should talk to
that's great.
Coco then.
Okay, what do you need
Hey
clarity
Coco,
on?
how you been, man? It's
Or Coco, sure.
hey Coco,
What's up?
Go ahead.
what's going on? How you been?
All right.
Good.
Been okay.
Yeah. So I was hoping to maybe understand the term responsibility here, and in what way does that correlate to maybe the term of fault, and if those things are synonymous to each other.
Do you want to explain, Coco? I can explain.
You want me to take it?
Yeah.
Say it or ask the question one more time.
Yeah. So I'm trying to understand what responsibility is. Maybe a definition here would help, and how that correlates to or is different from the term fault.
I think like what like responsible and fault would be used like synonymously. Like when someone asks the question like, "Are you at fault?" or "Are you responsible for a certain thing?" I think it would be used synonymously, and I would say like it would just mean that like, are you like probably the cause or somehow connected in a causal relationship to like an event that was occurring.
First of all, can
Oh,
I say hello? Hi.
Yeah, hello. I'm going to stick you on mute though, okay? Sorry, there's a conversation that's being had right now. And so we're going to listen
Y'all
to
are
that.
rude as fuck. Y'all are just rude and uncouth and disrespectful and do not have parents that care about you. I swear to God, y'all don't. Y'all don't.
Uncouth is crazy. You just
It's
whip that one
crazy.
out.
Zena,
I'm going to
it's
start
nice
calling
in you.
people
It's good.
uncouth.
Don't, hey,
I
hey,
need
if
to
I'm
do
not talking
that.
to you, don't talk to me, bitch baby. If I'm not talking to you, talk to Coco. Don't talk to me, okay? I'm not talking to you, bitch baby. All right? All right, don't talk to who you were talking to. Don't say my name.
I literally had to look up the definition of uncouth. I'm about to steal that. You uncouth motherfucker.
You are
I love it.
absolutely welcome to word of the day.
You never heard uncouth before, boy?
I've heard of it. I just don't think I've heard of it in a long time. So when Zena said it, I was like, damn, okay. Word of the day, shit. Okay, go ahead, Coco and Darragon. Go ahead.
I apologize. I thought we were cool because we've been mutuals for more than 2 years. But you know what? I take that back. I apologize.
Okay, if you want to continue on your conversation with Coco, that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go for it.
Yeah, so you're saying those two things are synonymous to each other. They're pretty much the same word.
Yeah, I would say like fault and like responsible would be like synonymous depending on like how you use it. I would say if you ask the question like, "Are you at fault for something?" or "Are you responsible for something?"
Mhm.
like it would just be used in a synonymous way.
Okay. Okay, if I were to give you the scenario of I'm driving my car and I'm stopped at a red light and someone comes and crashes into the back of me, that would mean that I'm not only responsible for what's happening right now, but I'm also at fault.
I would say you're less responsible than the person that crashed into you.
How are you at fault for it at all? Period.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to see if there is a distinction between these two terms.
Okay, but you're not pointing out a distinction between them by creating that
Well,
scenario. What's
it's
the
not my
distinction
job to
there?
point out the distinction. It's Coco's job to point out the distinction here.
No. You created a scenario where one wouldn't find fault or responsibility with the person who was hit with a car. So how do you determine responsibility in that instance?
Yeah, so responsibility is going to be the actions that I take in the circumstance that I'm in, regardless of whether I created the situation or not. So
But that's not the scenario that
if
you
I were to give
created.
you,
You created a
well,
scenario and then you asked, "Am I responsible or at fault for the car
if
accident?"
right, if I'm
Well,
stopped at a red light and
how
someone
does that
comes and
fall in?
crashes into the back of me,
Hmm. You
am I
being stopped at
responsible?
the
Am I at fault?
you being stopped at the red light, how does that put you at fault or responsible for the car crash?
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, it doesn't.
Okay, so I think, well, maybe if I were to give
If
you
you
my perspective
Yeah.
and
I
try,
sorry, I just want to be clear. If you think that there's a distinction there, I'd like for you to tell me
Right.
how, right? It's Coco's
Yeah.
perspective that they're synonymous. So if there's a
Sure.
difference there, point that
So
out.
yeah. So I think that the difference here is that one, someone can point at me and say that it was this person's fault that caused the accident. Whereas someone can point at me and say, well, they're responsible for what's taking place right now as far as like the actions that they're taking based off of the circumstances they're in, regardless of whether they were the person who created the situation or not.
In what
So,
way?
another circumstance that maybe this draws out a better distinction would be something along the lines of, if someone has an abortion, someone's perspective might be, well, they're avoiding responsibility, where I would say that they're actually being responsible by not
Okay.
creating
So
circumstances or
how we
situations for the
determine,
child.
but you're not distinguishing a difference between these two words, right?
How
You're
am I
you're
not?
just saying, yeah, what I'm hearing you say is that when you look at a situation, you can find
Mhm.
responsibility with someone or you cannot find responsibility with them. But you're not telling me what's the difference between responsibility and fault. Can you
Yeah, so the
instead of
difference is going to
creating an
be,
okay, go ahead. Explicitly state the difference.
right. So the difference is going to be, one is causing the circumstance to take place, and the other is going to be their responsibility is going to be the acts that they take to be able to either mitigate or I don't like using the word control there, but I think
So it's your perspective that
I
one is causing it and the other one is within that scenario.
yeah,
Okay.
I
But
think that's
both
a pretty good way to put it, and I
but
apologize
but
because I don't
but
necessarily think too much.
responsibility can be found in causing a scenario, and as well as within the scenario you can find responsibility there. The same thing with fault, right? If you created a scenario, you created a situation, you would be found at fault for that situation, and the actions that you do within that situation, you would be found at fault. For instance, um, if you're camping and you leave food out where you know that there's bears there, you are responsible for creating that scenario, and you're also at fault for creating that scenario. But the same thing is true even after the bear is there eating the food. What you choose to do after that scenario is already created, you're found at fault for your choices even thereafter, and you're also responsible for your choices thereafter.
Is there going to be a circumstance where these two things are not going to be synonymous to each other at a
I'm failing to find a distinction, and I don't think that you're doing a good job at finding one either. So that that's why I'm saying I don't think I think you're pulling at straws.
Okay, yeah, but that's fine, and I'm not over here trying to like argue semantics or
Yeah.
anything like that. I'm just trying to get a better understanding.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the definition that we're using here is just the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something.
okay, all right. So I guess going with the heading, Coco, you wanna?
Sure.
Can you answer the question though? That's
Sure.
on the board here.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I create yeah, I think you would be.
Go ahead, Coco.
Oh, okay. Um. Okay, so like, so so you agree that like, someone would be responsible for creating a robot that does damage. So essentially, like, the correlation is just going to be like, the Christian God seems deterministic in the sense that like he like knows everything that's going to happen like set in stone, and like he's kind of like creating individuals who are just like going to do what he sees them doing before they do it. Um, I'm like a hard determinist, so like my reasoning here would just be like everything has like a causal principle, and like everything's just going to be a result of like some kind of causal principle, and God is kind of like putting all these causal principles together and like having people just kind of like play out and do what they're going to do, but it's kind of like determined, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm okay with that. The only issue here is going to be I'm not going to hold to this idea that God is going to be all good or any of the omni properties, but I do come from the hard deterministic perspective also.
Oh, okay. Well, Yeah, I think we've spoken before. Like,
Really?
yeah, well, yeah. We're like best friends, but yeah, like I think, yeah, we've talked about this before. But like, do you hold to like the Bible and how the Bible describes God?
No, no. I think those are written from humanistic perspectives, and we don't have the capacity to be able to rationalize things outside of humanity.
Mm,
So you're
interesting.
not. So you're
Yeah,
not a
because like
Christian.
he's
I'm
like
sorry.
he's an unorthodox Christian. His Christian view is a bit like it's not
Yeah.
like the usual.
How do you learn about the Christian God if the Bible is incorrect?
I don't necessarily think we can. I think we could probably just philosophize about it and maybe ultimately get nowhere with it.
Okay, so you're not a Christian.
I wouldn't do that to anyone. I wouldn't. I don't think anyone's going to be the arbiter of who or what someone is and what their stances are.
Well, I think Christian has a very like set meaning, right? It's to be a follower of
Yeah, it
Christ.
means to
So
follow in
how
the
do we
path of.
how do yeah, how do we learn about this Christ? How do we learn about this God if the Bible's wrong?
I mean that's